Hi, this is part 28 of my preparation for NSE4 exam Fortinet. And we continue the part about IPsec VPN, Virtual Private Network, and let's talk about redundant VPNs. To make your IPsec VPN deployment more resilient, provide a second ISP, Internet Service Provider connection to your site and configure two IPsec VPNs. If the primary VPN tunnel fails, then FortiGate routes traffic through the backup virtual private network. There are two types of redundant VPNs. The first type is partially redundant. So here we have one WAN, wide area network, and connection 1 and connection 2 to WAN 1 and WAN 2. On one peer, usually on the hub, there is a backup ISP, Internet Service Provider, is available. And if the main ISP is down, each VPN terminates on different physical ports. That way, FortiGate can use alternative VPN. On the other peer, each VPN terminates in some physical port, so the spoke is not fault tolerant. Another type of redundant VPN is fully redundant VPN. So here we have, for fully redundant VPNs, we have wide area network 1 connects to one area network 2, and wide area network 2 connects to another wide area network 2. And both peers terminate their virtual private networks on different physical ports, so they are both fault tolerant. Redundant virtual private networks configuration. First, create one phase 1 for each path. One phase 1 for the primary VPN and one for backup VPN. You should also enable DPD, which is dead peer detection, on both ends. Second, create at least one phase 2 definition for each phase 1. Third, you must add at least one static route for each VPN. Routes for the primary VPN must have lower distance or lower priority than backup. This causes FortiGate to use the primary VPN, and if primary VPN fails, then FortiGate automatically uses the backup route. Alternatively, you can use a dynamic routing protocol such as OSPF, Open Shortest Path First, or BGP. And finally, configure firewall policies to allow traffic through both primary and backup VPNs. So if we have configuration where here the distance is 5 for the which one on top distance is 5, and for which one is down distance is 10, the preferable distance is lower distance. So the primary route will be the upper one. It will be primary VPN, and the route with distance 10 will be backup VPN. Questions. Which feature should be enabled in redundant IPsec VPN deployment? Answer is DPD, dead peer detection. Question 2. Which setting determines whether a tunnel is used as primary or a backup? It answers routing or firewall policies. And the right answer is routing. IPsec VPN status. IPsec monitor widgets. On the graphical user interface dashboard, you can use IPsec widget to monitor the status of your IPsec VPNs. The widget shows the phase 1 and phase 2 status of an IPsec VPN. You can also bring up or bring down individual virtual private networks and get additional details. When you bring up an IPsec VPN using the IPsec widget, you can choose between bringing up a particular phase 2 selector or all phase 2 selectors result in its phase also coming up in phase 1. To bring down the VPN, you can choose between bringing down a particular phase 2 selector or all selectors of the entire tunnel. When you are bringing down the entire tunnel, you bring down all phase 2 selectors as well as phase 1. The name column indicates the virtual private network status. The VPN is up when at least one of its phase 2 selectors is up. And when at least one of phase 2 selectors are down, the VPN status is also down. The phase 1 and phase 2 selectors columns indicate the status of phase 1 and phase 2 selectors, respectively. The IPsec widget also displays the amount of data sent and received through the tunnel. When you right-click any of the columns, a menu opens a list of all of the commands available. You can enable additional columns to get further details about IPsec tunnels. In graphical user interface, we go to Dashboard, then Network, then IPsec. The To Remote VPN is up because at least one of its phase 2 selectors, To Remote 1, is up. Monitor IPsec routes. If you set the remote gateway to static IP address or dynamic DNS domain name system, the static route for these tunnels become active. In its routing table, another phase 1 comes up. Phase 1 negotiation is enabled on phase 1 by default. This behavior also allows FortiGate to match interesting traffic to the right tunnel. Moreover, if phase 2 is not come up. Traffic matching the static route triggers a phase 2 negotiation, which eventually results in the tunnel or phase 2 to come up. When you set the remote gateway to dial-up user, by default, the static route for the destination network is added after phase 2 comes up. The distance set for the static route is 15. If phase 2 goes down, the route is removed from the routing table. IPsec logs. FortiGate logs IPsec VPN events by default. To view IPsec VPN event logs, click on Graphical User Interface, Log and Report, then go to System Events, and then VPN Events. The log track for the progress of phase 1 and progress of phase 2 negotiations, and report on tunnel up and tunnel down events and DPD, dead port detection failures, among other events. The IPsec monitor widget enables you to bring down which type of IPsec VPN. The IPsec monitor widget enables you to bring down the entire tunnel of the IPsec VPN. When the remote gateway is set to dial-up user, a static route to the remote network is added to the routing table after, here we choose, phase 2 come up. When phase 2 comes up, then a static route to the remote network is added to the routing table. Thank you. Next part will be about high availability. Thank you.